Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm here doing story time. Got Vivian playing in the background, and this is part 18. So if you haven't seen the first 17, you might want to catch up. So we are into 2022 now. My kids and I had taken a trip for Christmas to California. We had gone to Disneyland, then we had taken a train to upstate California to go see my sister who lived there at the time, and my nieces and my nephew and my brother-in-law. We'd hung out there. We'd had a really good trip. It was really funny because my kids were still doing their visitation, but again, it was only, twice a month, overnight. And my ex-husband hadn't really gotten them like Christmas presents or anything. He was just kind of, I don't know, it was kind of weird. He wasn't really being he wasn't being the way I expected him to be. But he still hadn't mentioned the girlfriend to me, but the kids told me about her. They said she was a nice kind of like grandma. Like they said that she reminded them of like a grandma lady, which she is a grandma, so that makes sense. But they said she was really nice. They had no issues with her. I was like, that's perfect. That's great. I don't care if he doesn't want to mention her to me. It doesn't matter. As long as she's nice to you guys and you have no issue with her, we're all good. So I just left that alone and just, let him live his life. But he was still convinced that I was dating everyone under the sun. Like he had told my kids actually during the supervised visitation, some guy had driven by on a motorcycle, driven by my mom's house. And he was like, there's your mom's new boyfriend. And they were like, what? And he was like, yeah, they talk all the time on Facebook. And he had told the kids the guy's name. So then after I came and picked up my kids from that visit, they were like, Dad just told us and said that. And I was like, I don't even know that guy. He had been married to somebody I went to high school with. We're not Facebook friends. I've never met him. But okay, sure. That's my new boyfriend. Whatever. And so, the kids and I would just kind of laugh about it. And so then when my friend James came to town, of course, immediately, James is here. That's who I'm dating. 100%. So the kids just kind of went with it. They were like, sure, whatever. Think what you want to think. We just ignored it, He would ask the kids what they were, what they'd done that week. And, we hung out at James's house. Or, we went to James's for dinner. Or we went to go watch a movie. Or we went and did this. So, of course, in his mind, that meant 100% relationship. We're probably engaged. So then when the kids and I were going to California, we had a layover on the way home. We had an 8-hour layover in Las Vegas. My ex-husband was 100% convinced that James was coming with me and we were getting married in Vegas, and that's why we had this layover. And I was like, you understand that I don't choose layovers, right? The airline does. And why would I bring James with me to a family vacation to Disneyland and then to go see my sister? But I just let him think what he wanted to think. James and I were getting married in Vegas. Sure thing. Let it go. So we went, we had this vacation, we came back. February, James and I had a falling out. Quit speaking. He was making transphobic comments on Facebook. I called him out for it. He was unapologetic, so that was it. I was done. I haven't spoken to him since. I don't play around with that. You don't get to be transphobic and be my friend. So that was it. Now, my ex-husband does not know that. Still to this day, he has no idea if James and I are still friends. He has no idea if we talk. He doesn't know anything about my life, and I keep it that way. I still have him blocked on every form of social media. I even went on Twitter, because years ago when he was an over-the-road truck driver, he had made a Twitter account to follow the company that he worked for, because they tweeted a lot of information. So they had suggested that employees make a Twitter account and follow them. So he had a Twitter that I'm not even sure if he knows the password for, because I set it up for him. But I blocked him on there anyway, because he does not get to know anything about my life. So I still to this day have him blocked on every form of social media. If he wants to speak to me about the children, he has my phone number. I don't have him blocked on that. Other than that, he does not need to know. Incidentally, I do have his girlfriend on all my social media because she's a sweetheart. I don't mind her one bit. But anyway, now we'll get to how I found out about the girl. Not found out, but actually met her. And he finally admitted she existed. So this would have been after February, so maybe March. my kids are at their dad's for an overnight. I'm at home. I think I was going to go somewhere. I can't remember. Maybe I wasn't. I really didn't usually go anywhere. I would just sit at home, to be perfectly honest with you, when my kids were gone. I didn't like go out with friends or anything. I would go, like, on the day that I dropped the kids off, I would go have lunch with one of my friends that lived in the, like, near the same city as him. Because he was a little ways away. He was about, 45 minutes, half hour or so away. And anyway, so I dropped my kids off. I'm sitting at home. And all of a sudden, I get a phone call from my middle son. And he says, Mom, he's okay, but Dad just got into a car accident with my younger son. And, he just called the girlfriend and said they just got into a wreck. And I'm like, what? So I call him right away, and I'm like, where's my kid? Or actually, I called my son. I called my younger son. And he answers phone. He tells me he was sitting in the front seat. Dad was looking at his phone, texting, and he rear-ended the person in front of him, going about, 50. And he said his chest hurt from the seatbelt. And I was like, okay, tell your dad you've got to go to the hospital. So I said, put your dad on the phone. And so my ex-husband's like, EMTs came and they checked him out. They said he's fine. I hear my son in the background saying, no, they didn't. And I want to go to the hospital. And I'm like, what in the heck? So I'm like, you take him to the hospital now. I'm not asking. I'm on my way. So I hang up the phone. I get in my car and I shoot down the road to this hospital. And I get there and my kid is already there. So I walk in and my son is sitting there. My middle son is sitting there with a woman that I assume to be the girlfriend. And, he runs up and hugs me. And I tell the front desk people that I'm there for my son, my younger son. And they tell me I can go back there. And I look at the girlfriend. I'm like, hey, they said we can go back. Do you want to come? She says, tell him I'll be in my truck. And she gets up and stomps out. And I'm like, oh, super friendly. Okay. So me and my son go back there. And right away, I run right up to my younger son and, make sure he's okay, give him a hug. And I'm just shooting daggers at my ex-husband. And he's huffing and puffing and he gets up and he stomps out. And the doctor comes in, says that, my son's got some bruising and he's sore, but he's going to be okay. They did an x-ray, nothing's broken, he's all right. So I asked the kids if they want to go back to Dad's or if they want to come home with me. They tell me they want to come home with me. So we walk outside, we go to the girlfriend's vehicle and we let them know, hey, kids want to come home with me. They're like, yeah, whatever, fine. And they take off. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Awesome first impression. So we go home. And after that, the kids go back to their dad's maybe 1 or 2 times, but then they decide they don't want to go back there anymore. So that's fine. I tell them they don't have to. And, I let my ex-husband know that the kids would rather just meet up at restaurants or whatever. So that's what we start doing, and I start having him bring the girlfriend. And I meet her, and she's very nice. I've got no issue with her. Like I said, her and I probably talk to her more than I talk to my ex-husband right now. But then, in the meantime, my ex-husband, actually, it was right before our trip to Disneyland. Or no. No. I'm wrong. So this was spring that all of this happened. And then, as it leads into summer, that's when we start doing meeting up at restaurants and stuff like that. And then that summer, the kids and I had a trip planned with Vincent and Vivian's family for Vivian's birthday in July to go to Disney World. So that's what we do. At the time, I was working part-time at my job, so I didn't work for July. And so I had that time off to go on vacation. And then I will let you guys know what happened next, how visitation stopped entirely in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Vivs, thank you so much for playing the game for me so that I can do these story times. I love you. And up next, we'll get to the next one. Bye.